Okay, so we start with two modern technologies of this DevOps world. These are the most trending technologies, which is Docker and Kubernetes. So Docker and Kubernetes are amazing in many terms. Okay, and you will be surprised to know that these are not only the technologies which are being used on a very theoretical level, but most of the enterprise level companies have either migrated or are or have started using Docker and Kubernetes. Docker was already there, but Kubernetes is something which has come into the market. And this is a big success. Okay, so many enterprise level company who have adopted Kubernetes are successful. So in IT industry, if one of the folk is making a success, the others simply follow. Okay, now one second. Suresh, can you put your video down? Suresh, can you unmute? Can you put your video down? Okay. So what we will do is we will start with Docker, and this is the definition of Docker. So it says build, ship, and run any software anywhere. So it means a lot. Build, ship, and run any software anywhere. So build means you can compile it, you can test it. Ship means you can take it from prod environment to dev environment to prod environment, dev into UAT to pre-prod to prod. So that you can do. Run is execute. So there is something called any software anywhere. So before me going further into this, I'll tell you what was the problem earlier which we were facing. Most of the enterprise level companies had this problem. So if a developer is developing a code, okay, he has his own set of environment. When I say set of environment, let me give you an example. He's a Java developer. Assume he is a Java developer. So what he does is he installs Java on his machine. He installs Maven on his machine. He has a different operating system, and net he does all the background work, all the environment related thing, and he writes the code. Once the code is written, he goes ahead, compiles the code, and then shares the executable with the prod support team. Now, the moment it goes to production support, the production support team says, hey, it's not working, take it back. There is a problem in your code. He says, all of a sudden, what happened? Let me check. Now he checks back, same environment, same code, and it runs smooth. Now he's angry. He says, the code works fine in my laptop. And then she says that, no, there is a problem in your code. So this is because the environment in which the code is running is different. Okay. Why is the environment different? So probably one of them is using a different operating system. Let me say one guy is using a Mac OS, the other guy is using a Linux. One guy is using PostgreSQL 9.3. This is using 9.2, Redis 5.0. This is Redis 4.0, Java 8, Java 11. So net, first thing can be that the softwares or the version of software is different. Let me say one is using Python 2.7, the other one is using Python 3.7. So first, version of the software installed may be different. Operating system may be different. Okay. Then when you install a software, there are many steps. So somebody will go with a custom setting. The other one will go with the recommended settings. So all these small things add up, and then your environment and the production guy's environment may be different. Problem number one. The problem number two is when you have developed a code, okay, and when you say that, hey, deployment team, go ahead and deploy it. So you will also share a run sheet or runtime sheet or a deployment sheet where you will say first do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. So it's a guided way. So step one is there, step two is there, step three is there. So probably the operations guy who was installing on the prod environment, he did not understand everything, and he installed but not correctly. That can also be a problem. So net, what I'm trying to see here, I'm seeing here is that the environment in which the code is initially running and the environment in which the code is later on running, they are different. And because they are different, they either do not work or they behave differently. So here is where the container concepts come into picture. As a container, we as a developer, as a operations, we will work together to package the applications in a container. Means whatever I need, I'll put it in a container so that there are no environmental configurations needed. I need only one thing, which is Docker runtime environment. Now, how do you take this? Now, I'll give you an example. Now, let me say I went to McDonald or any such place. I was very hungry. I went to a place, McD or anything. I wanted a burger, and I told pack so and so a chicken burger for me. And he packed and he gave it to me. I was in a hurry. I never checked what he packed. I paid and I went out. Later down the line, when I come to my house, I want to eat. Okay. I open the packet and I see only the burger is there. There is no ketchup. There is no spoon. There is no tissue paper or additional 5 things which I would have asked. So it's not there. So you will be very unhappy and you will probably rate him as 1 or 1.5 or 2, something like that. But then the guy gives you everything in that packet: water bottle, tissue paper, sauce, everything extra, whatever you need, everything he puts in the packet and he gives to you. So now you open the packet, you have everything, finish your food and throw the waste on a dustbin. So your work is completely done. So that kind of environment I want. So if I say that I have to run a Java code, everything related to that should be available inside the container. Likewise, it will need things like, wait, let me come here. So it will the container will need the configuration files, the software, the script. So whatever is needed, okay, you package everything in one single unit and you get your own isolated environment. And this own isolated environment is nothing but the container. And this container can run anywhere. You don't have to go ahead and do anything extra. So generally, when you say a container is something like this, which comes in different sizes. I say a container will look like this, okay? So it will have different sizes, it will have different items in each box. And the good thing is each box is isolated from the other, okay? So this is how our Docker containers work. They are isolated packages. They work independently, and to work independently, they have all the prerequisites. Whatever is required, they have everything. So what do I need to get started with Docker? So to get started with Docker, you will need a very simple, a basic machine. Okay. A basic machine can be your local machine. So let me say, I'll say Docker. So the official website of Docker is docker.io. Now, if I come here, okay, I can talk about a lot of things. So Docker is compatible with almost all the versions of software which you have. So it says I have 13 million plus developers, 7 million plus applications, and 13 million plus monthly images being downloaded. Okay. So all these good things about how Docker build works, how you can share it, how you can run it. Okay. And it says we have a base of community users who will help you, or who will help you to get started. And this is the list of companies who are using Bitbucket, Nginx, Jenkins, Elasticsearch, GitLab, MongoDB, Kubernetes, and all these companies are using. And these are again the list of companies. So if you go to the website, you almost get a good story of this particular stuff. Now I would like to download the software. I can come here and say download Docker. So you can download it on a Windows machine, or you can download it on a Mac machine, Mac and Linux. So let me say I want a Linux machine one. hub, not hub. Wait, 1 second. This one. So you can install it on a Mac machine, okay? Or you can go ahead and install in a Windows machine, or you can go ahead and install it on a Linux machine. So this is Linux, Windows, this is Mac, this is Windows, and here also you will find it for Linux. Docker for Linux. So you have different versions of Linux: CentOS, Debian, Fedora, Red Hat, SUSE, Ubuntu. So depends on what kind of installation you want. We can go ahead and install it on our system. It says you can see only the container slide. Why? Okay, let me share it again. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So what went wrong is I had paused my screen. Okay, fine. So I've just unchecked that option. So give me 1 second, please. One second, annotation. Okay, so just let me go ahead and talk the same thing again. So basically what I was talking, or what I started with is, I started with this guy called Docker, and I told Docker is something which will help me to run any software anywhere, and not only run, I will be able to build and ship the software. Okay, so when I say the problem was that when a developer is developing a code and trying to share it with the prod support team, the prod support team is not able to execute that piece of work. And probably the reason is because they are having two different environments, and this environmental differences can be because of the way you install the softwares, the version of softwares which you are using, and then the order in which you have installed the software. So basically there is a huge software dependency, or the way in which you are installing software is very much important. So what we are trying to do now is that we will try to mitigate this problem, or we'll try to solve this problem. So to solve this problem, the best option what we have is we start implementing containers. Now containers is something which has an isolated environment, and this isolation is capable of handling all the situations. So we have packaged everything together. So if you see here, the configuration files, the software, the script, whatever is needed to execute this piece of program or piece of code, I have packaged everything together. And now I ship them as one single unit. And anybody who wants to get started can go and get started. So where do you ship it, and how, where do you keep it, and how do you ship it? So to understand where and how, let's go to the official website where these things are stored. So I'll go to my Docker Hub. So hub.docker.com is the website, or is the place where all these things are saved. So you can either come down here and log in, okay, create an account for yourself and then go ahead and log in. So it's not like Docker Hub. One second, there's some problem here. Give me 1 second. Okay, probably now you will be able to see it. I saw that there was some problem in sharing the screen. So I have shared my screen full-fledgedly. Now you will be able to see all the screens which I'm doing. Not yet. Okay. Others, can you please put it on the chat window if you're able to see my screen? Probably multiple parties. No, you should be able to see, because I have. Only PPT is shared. Okay, I have shared everything right now. Wait. Now, are you able to see now? I have shared the, yeah. So I see a lot of yes. So we are, okay. So yeah, fine. Now it's okay. So we are able to see the stuffs now. Get it? Okay. So what I have done is I am logging into my hub.docker.com, which is the place where you will find all the images and everything. So I will, if you don't have an account, sign up, create an account for yourself. Okay. If you already have an account, sign up. Okay. So sign up is very easy. Just they need your email address and a unique username. That's it. So this is my username, Vikas24775. Continue. And here I'll put my password and go ahead. Okay. So this is something which you are going to look at. So this place, okay, this hub.docker.com is a place where you can see these many images are available. So you can take any image of your choice. So it can be, let me say, I'm looking for a Debian image. See here, I get a Debian official image. I'm looking for Jenkins. So I get Jenkins official image. So like that, you will see that you get official images for almost everything. Okay, almost everything, because many a times you may not get the official image, but then you get a image which is close to being official. Okay, but then always trust official images only. Okay, there can be a virus or there can be a malware function, a malware code. So always when you're working, trust official images or verified publishers only. You will see there are many softwares which are not verified, like this. So I don't trust this. Okay, it is by Jenkins, so probably you can, but there are softwares which are not trustworthy. Like, I don't know who is this guy, Jenkins SGUYA, and there is something PHP 70 test. I don't know who this guy is, what this software is. Okay, there is a good number of people who have downloaded it, but still I will not want to go and install all these things. It can be a problem for me. So always when you're working, work with the latest or will work with the official images only. So this is the official image. This is a verified publisher. So always see for the tag and always work with official images. Now, I want to get started with Docker. How should I get started? So to get started with Docker, you can install Docker on your local machine. You can install Docker on your virtual machine. You can install Docker on your Mac machine. So in short, you can install Docker anywhere. But down the line, when we start our actual work, okay, we will see that we are implementing everything on cloud. So if a part of my work is on cloud and a part of work is there on my on-prem or my local machine, it will create problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything on cloud from day one. So when I say I'm going to put everything on cloud, I will need to have a AWS free account, which I can use for my practice. So it's a free account. Okay, so where I get a lot of options, a lot of stuff as free. So see here, there are options which are given to me as free. So I have a free trial account, which is free for 12 months. And there are some services which are free for always. So basically I get 750 hours of EC2, 750 hours of EC2. So this is per month. Okay, so per month, if you see, it is good amount of EC2, which is free of cost. I get 5 GB of storage. So net, there are items which are free. I can use them and get going or do my work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go open the Cognito window because I already have an account. I'll come here and say free account with AWS. I'll go to the same link again. And here I'll try to create a free account. So basically, when you say that I want to create a free account, there are three things which is expected from your side. An email address. So let me just randomly give a email address. A password. And a name which you would like to display. So I'll say my name is AWS trainer. Okay. So email address, password, and the name. Step 1 done. Okay. It's asking me for a captcha. Let's provide it. 7P6QC4. The captcha was not correct. CNZ 580. Okay, so the captcha was correct at this time. So now I'll go here and say, what kind of account are you aiming at? So I'm looking for a personal account. What's your name? So I'll just go ahead and tell you my name. What's your country? What's your phone number? So I'll say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Then what's your country? So I'll say I stay in India. Then what's your address? If you already have an account, very good. So you can use the same account. Okay, postal code. And I hereby agree. Go ahead. Okay, so the step 3 is where it will ask you for your credit card or a debit card detail. So just remember one thing, either your card should be Visa, Amex, or MasterCard. So if you're using any other card, net banking, those things are not going to work. You need a credit or a debit card. Okay, and they will kind of deduct $1 or 1 rupee or 2 INR, and then they will refund the same thing back to you. Okay, so it comes back to you after 3 to 5 working days after the validation is done. Okay, so this amount will be initially deducted and then refunded back to you. So credit card details and all, just go ahead and put all those details. Say use same as my billing address, and here it says, do you have a PAN? Say no, I don't have a PAN card. Now it will not allow me to proceed because I'm not entered card details, but you enter your card details. The next step, or the 4th step, is where it will ask you for your OTP. 5th step is where it will ask you for the confirmation, a review screen. Just say yes, and your account will get created. So you have an account on AWS. As soon as the account is created, go back to your Gmail address or the email, whatever you have used. There you will find a welcome link. Click on that. The moment you click on that, your account will become active. Okay. So generally it takes 2 to 24 hours to get your account activated. 2 or 24 hours. Most of the time it will immediately then and there happen. Now, assuming that my account is created. So what I will do is I will come here and try to log into my account. So the URL and all, you will get it there only, but even if you don't have the URL, you can come here and say console.aws.amazon.com. So this is my URL, console.aws.amazon.com. Enter. Now, here you will initially, or when you get started, you log in as a root user because you are the account owner, because your email ID has been used, your credit card, debit card has been used, your phone number has been used. So you are the owner of the account, and as a owner of the account, you have full rights. You get unrestricted access. But then when you're working on a production environment or an enterprise level company, you get an IAM user account. The only difference is IAM user will have limited access. Okay. Only the access which is required. So let me say I'm a developer. So whatever access I need as a developer, I will get that much only. But here you get root access, or you can say admin access, and you can do whatever you want. So let's get started with root user. Give your email address. Go ahead, provide your captcha. Okay. So if everything goes good, your account is active, you come here to this page, AWS Management Console. Now, when you come to AWS Management Console, there are two things which you should always keep an eye on. First is, if you come to your extreme right, you see there the name, your name will be visible here. Click on this and click on this My Billing Dashboard or Billing Dashboard. Okay, always come here and see what's happening. Always check your bills. So click on this bills. So you can see the bill. So for me, it is like 1,200 INR. This is okay for me because I have a lot of trainings, lot of classes, and I generally exceed the free tier limits. Okay, so for me, it is okay. But for you, you should come here to your free tier. Okay, wait a second. You should come to this guy, billing preferences. Okay, and provide your email address here so that at any point of time you are about to exceed the free tier usage, you get notified. So maybe you have done something or you have started something which is causing you a money. So I will let you know that don't do this. It will not, it is not free, or you can run this. It is of no problem. But while working, if you have accidentally or intentionally or by any other means, you have started a service which you forgot to close, then it will keep ticking. The money will, or the free tier usage will be exhausted. So before you get a bill of $100 or $50 or $2, you keep an eye on that so that you don't get end moment surprises. That is one part. Even if you get a bill, okay, even if you get a bill, you can drop an email back to Amazon and say that I am a one-time user, I am a new guy, I just created this account to learn, can you please waive off my bills? So generally for the first time they will waive off all the bills. Okay, so I've seen people having bills like $30, $40, and the bill was waived off. Okay, so first is, do not create or do not start a service which you don't need. If you have started a service just to experiment, go ahead and delete it once your work is done. Keep an eye on the bill if anything is running unnecessary. And even after doing all these things, if you see that the bill has been generated, one-time rebate is what you can expect from Amazon. The first time, if the bill is like $5, $10, go back to them and say that, please waive it off. And they generally do it. So this is on the account creation part. Now, if you come back to your home page, you will see there are a lot of regions available here: North Virginia, Ohio, California, Oregon. So what you can do is you can log in or you can switch to something which is near to you. Okay, whichever region is near to you, that will give you least latency or least delay. How can you check that? So you can come here and say AWS ping test. Go to this guy, cloud ping info, and try to run this. So meanwhile, when it is running, I'll tell you what is latency. So latency is nothing but when you type something on internet, okay, that thing goes all the way to the main server, like we say Google. So I'm saying best salon near me. Okay. So now I'm not interested in the output, but I'm interested in this guy, latency. So what happens is that whenever you type something, okay, the request from your machine goes all the way to the server and you get a response back. So this to and fro journey is called latency. And when you work, you will always want that the latency is on a lower side, as small as possible. So what we have done is we have run this latency test, and I can see that if I connect to North Virginia, 296 milliseconds. If I connect to Central Canada, 309 milliseconds. But something which is close to me, like Hong Kong, only 100 milliseconds. Mumbai, 109 milliseconds. Okay, 116, 115. So Singapore is giving only 64 milliseconds. So probably I can log into Singapore. But I'll prefer Mumbai because I'm close to Mumbai. Okay, so now I will come down and I will say my region is Mumbai. So ideally there is no difference at all. Stick to any region you want. Okay, obviously here we don't have a client who will say that you work on North Virginia or you work on Sydney, but in an enterprise level work, the company or the service provider or your client will only say that you have to work on Sydney region. I'm an Australian client, work on Sydney. I'm a US client, work on North Virginia. So they will let you know. But here you can choose anything of your choice. But the most important thing is when you choose something, okay, please stick to that. Don't put one thing here, one thing here, one thing here. It will again create a confusion. So things which we are going to learn, okay, are not that easy. It's not very easy, especially Kubernetes. So I don't want you to get distracted with unwanted problems or unwanted issues. So let's stick to what I'm saying right now initially, learn that much, and then you can start experimenting. So there is a lot of scope to be discovered. So what I've done is I have fixed the region as Mumbai, and now I'll go to this guy, EC2. So basically I'm looking for a cloud machine on AWS environment, or I'm looking for a virtual machine or a virtual server on cloud. So I'll go to EC2. So this is nothing but Elastic Cloud Compute. Why Elastic? Because the size and all you can change at any point of time. So today, let me say you start with 1 GB. Tomorrow you feel I want 4 GB. So you can make changes as per your requirement. So let me click on this. So as of now, you can see something is running for me. I don't need it. So I'll go ahead and terminate it. Okay. Similarly, I'll go to my dashboard and see what all is available. 1 second. Okay. Now, security group. So something which I don't need, I'm just deleting it off. Okay. And then I'll tell you when you get started, what will be the scenario. One more request, do not practice along with me. Just come and see what's happening. Okay. And later, when we share the recordings with you, practice. Probably you will not be able to match the speed at which I'm doing. So you will be left behind, and then you will see that there is a problem, which I don't want to happen. So let me clean it up first. Let me refresh this guy. Okay, so I'm in my Mumbai region. Okay, and when you come here for the first time, you will see that instance running is 0, and everything, this snapshot also will be 0 for you. Okay, everything will be 0 apart from this security group. Okay, so this security group is nothing but it is your firewall, or it is kind of antivirus. Okay, and you will also need few things, like you will need a key pair, which is nothing but your password. So click on this key pair. Okay, so you can see no key pair is available right now. Now you can create a key pair. So give a name. So let me say I'll give it a name as Docker Kubernetes key. It will depend on you what kind of machine are you working with. So if you're working with a Mac OS, go with PEM. Okay, but if you're using a Windows key like how I am using, so this is a Windows machine. Okay, so if you're using a Windows machine, then go for PPK. Okay, putty private key. But if you're using a Mac OS, go with PEM. Just go ahead and say create. So this gets downloaded here, and one Docker Kubernetes key is created here. Okay, so this key is nothing but this is a password. You'll say, wow, it's so funny that you first create a key, you first create a password, and then you create the instance. Yeah, it is like this here on cloud. So let's come here. So if, as of now, you can see one key pair is what I've generated. Another thing is I'll create a security group. Click on this. So you can see a default security group is already there. You can either use the same or you can create a new one. So I'll create a new one, create a security group. Here I will say Docker Kubernetes security group. Okay, I'll provide the same name here in the description. And when you're working with a Linux machine, it is very important that you enable port number. So inbound rules, add rules. Here you enable port number 22. So to do that, SSH, this guy, you can see port number 22 has been opened here. Come here and say anywhere from IPv4. Okay, that's not a very good practice to open it for everything, but initially we will start with anywhere from IPv4, and then later we will make it more secure. So I am opening port number 22, which is mandatory. If you are connecting to any Linux machine, it is mandatory for you to open port number 22. Okay. Now this is done. Scroll all the way down, say create a security group. So what I have done or I have opened two things, security group and a key pair. Now I'm going to launch an instance. So instance is nothing but a virtual machine on cloud. So as of now, you can see nothing is there, no match found. So what I will do is launch an instance. I will have to go through these 7 steps, basically these 7 steps. Okay, so you can think of like you went to a market and you are going to buy a laptop or a desktop. You are configuring the laptop or desktop as per your requirement. Okay, so the first is you have to choose an AMI, then instance type, then instance, then storage, then tag, then security group, and then review. So first thing, choose a AMI or Amazon Machine Image. What is this? This is basically talking about my operating system. So I'll go with this first one. Okay, so why am I going with the first one? Because it is Amazon Linux, and here it says that I will give you 5 years of support. So here somewhere you will find it. Yeah. So 5 years of support is what you get from Amazon. So anything goes wrong, you can catch hold of Amazon. Second thing is it is free tier eligible. I don't want to spend money. It is free tier eligible. I can get started with this. So let's go with the first one. In instance type, it is basically talking about the CPU, the RAM memory, and all those things. If you scroll all the way down, you will see there are some very good machines like 96 core CPU, 384 GB RAM. So you can think of the speed at which this machine will work. But unfortunately, this is not covered under free tier. So if you choose this kind of RAM, money will be spent not covered under free tier. So what is covered? Scroll all the way up. You will see only this machine, T2 micro, is covered. Comes with 1 core CPU and 1 GB RAM, but it is good for my low to moderate work. So I'll stick to this. In case I need something bigger, I will go with the other machines. Configure. Then third step, you leave it as default. Don't touch anything here. Okay. Fourth step, it says add storage. So add storage is nothing but adding hard disk, how much memory you will need. So they say that anything beyond 30 GB will be chargeable. So by default, they are giving you 8 GB. Okay. You can make it 16, you can make it 20 based on your requirement, or you can stick to 8 GB, the default one, but do not go beyond 30 GB. Okay. So I'll stick to 8 GB, add tag. So at any point of time, don't put review and launch. You keep going to next, fourth, fifth step. So it says tag is nothing but you can give a name. Okay. So you can come down here and say add tag, and you can give a name. So name N should be capital letter. Okay. Name, what name would you like to give? So let me say this is Docker Kubernetes machine, Docker K8s. Security group. So security group I already have. So I'll say existing security group. And this is what I have created. Port 22 is open. Review and launch. And at the end of the day, review everything. And while launching, use the key which you have generated initially. Say I have it in my local machine and launch it. So now you have a virtual machine on the cloud environment. Click on this. So if you click on this, you will see two things. This is coming up, T2 micro, 919. So if I go ahead and see my clock, 920. So just now it has been created. It is using Docker Kubernetes key, and it is using Docker Kubernetes security group, and it is still coming up. So I'll refresh this guy. Now I can see it is running. Now, when you come here, you will see two things are very important. One is this public IP, and the other one is your private IP. See here, you got two IP addresses basically. Okay, let's ignore all these things. So if you come down here, you get two IP addresses. One is public IP address and the other one is private IP address. So private IP address is something which will stay constant. It will not change. Okay. But this public IP address is something which will change over a period of time. Change in the sense, if okay, Sabyasachi has raised this thing. Can you unmute yourself and talk? I would.
Yeah, hi Vikas, good morning. Because what I'm saying, suppose if I want to use some free services in AWS, do I need to have credit card?
Yes, whatever you want. You want to use the free services or you want to use the paid services, you should register. And when you say I want to register, you will have to provide your credit card or a debit card detail.
Okay, anything is fine, either debit card or credit, anything is fine.
Yes, anything is fine.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And just let us know that whatever you are just doing now, so it's not able to understand actually. So if there is a soft copy, then we can refer it because it's
I
new.
will, yeah, I'll share all the soft copy and all those things with you. So
And
whatever,
and step by step also how to create account, how to
yes,
run the instances.
I'll share all those things. I
Yeah,
have documents for that. I'll share all these things with you.
yeah.
But just see what I'm trying to do here. And then when you come back, once you see the recordings, things will be very clear to you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So when you create a EC2 instance, there are two IP addresses which you will get. One is your public IP, the other one is your private IP. Okay. So public IP is something which you will use to connect to the outside world, and private IP is something which you will use to connect internally within AWS. So I'll use this guy. Okay. So if I have to connect to my machine, there are many ways to connect, but as of now, if I have to connect, so this is my machine, and here you will see a connect button. Click on this, go to EC2 instance connect, and just click on this. And here you see you are connected. Amazon Linux 2. It says if you want, you can run this. There's some packages which has to be updated. So you just go ahead and say sudo yum update -y. So everything is done. Let's clear everything. Now let's get started. So this is the point where I wanted to reach. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to install Docker. Now before installing Docker, I would like to check whether Docker is available or not. Docker. Say Docker command not found. I would like to install Docker. How to do it? Yum install Docker. That's it. Nothing else. Yum install Docker -y. So I want to install Docker. Enter. So it says you need to be a root to perform this. So I am an EC2 user, right? I will upgrade myself. Sudo su hyphen. So now if you see, I have become a root user here. Okay. So I was earlier an EC2 user, and now I am a root user. Now let me run that command again. Yum install Docker -y. Now it will go ahead and install this. And I can see it has been installed. Now if I come here and say Docker --version, I can see Docker has been installed, and the Docker version is 20.10.7. Now, can I get started? Can I start typing Docker commands? Let's check. So if I come here and say Docker run, or if I say Docker images, a simple command. The moment you run this command, you will get a message, an error message basically. It says, cannot connect to Docker daemon. Is your Docker daemon running? There is a question here. So daemon is nothing but it's a Docker engine. So is your Docker engine running? To check whether your Docker engine is running or not, we say service Docker status. So I can see that the status is that it is loaded, okay, but it is inactive. Okay, so I will activate it. So I will say service Docker start. So now if I go back and see the status, I can see it is active and running. So now I can go ahead and type my commands. Okay, so I will say something like this, Docker images, and I can see the command is running. Now, when I get started, okay, I don't know anything about Docker. There are lots of commands which are related to Docker. I want to get started. So the best way to get started is you come here and say Docker --help. So it will basically give you a list of all the commands which are available or are being used on the Docker world. So you can come down here and you can take all these things. Let me take everything from here. Let's see, paste it here. report has been copied. So you can copy everything. Okay, kind of. I've copied everything. Not everything is copied, but I have copied everything here, and you can get started. So you can see here there is a command called docker build, docker cp, docker pull, docker push, and it also says what that command is going to do. Now, if I want to know a detail of this command, docker pull, so I'll come here. I'll say docker pull --help. So it will tell you what is this command, what it will do, and how to use it. Okay. So this is one of the ways in which you can get started. One of the easier way to get started is you can come down here and say docker cheat sheet. Okay. And you can go and take any cheat sheet which is available. Okay. So there are many cheat sheets available. So this is one. Okay. Then you have this ultimate Docker cheat sheet. Take this one, this one. So basically these are the commonly used commands which you will be working with, and a small explanation what they will do if you use the command. So you can get started with any cheat sheet. It's not like this is good, this is bad. Okay. So you can, let me say, I'll get started with this guy. See here. So if I have to build, the command is docker build -t. So like this. So at least when you are starting your Docker journey, you will get a fair understanding of all the commands which are available. You will not memorize the commands, like I'll by heart all the commands. No, that's not possible. So you will concentrate on the functionality, the ways of working, not by heart or memorizing the code, okay, or the commands. So what we will do now is I'll take a pause here. Now, once your work is done, okay, once your work is done, you go back to your machine and stop the machine. So this is my machine. I'll come here and I will stop this machine. Don't keep it running. Stop it. So kind of the billing takes a halt. It takes a stop. So next time when you come back, you start it and you get moving from the place where you had left. But under any circumstances, do not go and keep it running. Now, question from Gayatri: how to connect instances through Git Bash? I will teach you how to connect via Git Bash. In fact, there are multiple ways in which you can connect. So as of now, if you click here, okay, I've stopped it. But if you click here, let me just bring it back in that case, start. So there are multiple ways in which you can connect. Okay, so let it come back again. I'll show you. This is still pending. We'll wait for a minute probably. Okay, and now I'm going to unmute all of you. You can go ahead and have a word.
Because are you using Docker in Windows machine or Linux machine?
I will be using a Linux machine.
Can actually mainly in project, what machines you are using, Windows
Linux.
or Linux?
Most of them will be using Linux only.
Okay. So can you use in Windows machine also?
You can use anywhere, Linux, Mac, virtual machine, anywhere you can use. There's no problem. Okay. It's only the way you install, and then once it is installed, you get a black and white screen like how I showed you, and then you get started. So somebody was asking if I have to work with Git Bash, how can I do this? So go ahead and use these set of commands. So I will be helping you, or I will let you know how to work with a different set of tools. But initially, when you get started, use this. Okay. Then you can use Session Manager. there is SSH client, and there are many ways in which you can connect. Okay, but first let's stick to this and get started. Okay.
Hello, Vikas.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, the other time when you were showing us like the Docker Hub, you said basically we should be working with the official image.
Yes.
But there is another one which shows publisher verified. You think we
Yes.
can use that one too?
Yes.
It's good.
You can use the publisher verified one, but something which is completely unknown to you, please do not use that.
Okay. Yeah.
I have seen people landing into problems if they use these unknown images.
All right then. Thank you.
Okay, so Sudeep has a question here. He says, what is a daemon? So daemon thing will come in some, like in tomorrow's class, but just to give you a brief understanding of what is daemon. So daemon is the Docker engine which runs in the background. So this is how your Docker system works. Okay, you have containers, you have CLI. There is something called daemon. Okay, so this daemon is nothing but this is a Docker engine which is running in the background. That's it.
Okay.
If you have doubts, please raise. Okay, can you explain Docker architecture tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow we will be talking about Docker architecture. Today we just started with our installation process. We went ahead with our AWS account and how to install Docker. Okay, though Docker installation was only a one line statement which I had to write, but then the background work was important. What happens if the public IP changes? No problem. Even if the public IP changes, you do not have to worry about that. The content which is there on your machine will stay as it is. So only the IP address changes and nothing apart from that changes when you start and stop your machines multiple times. If I have a Docker image locally, can I move it to cloud? Yes, you can move it to cloud. It is a very normal scenario. It's a very common scenario to move your personal or Docker, personal or local images on cloud environment. Okay, so there are two things here. One, I'll request that try to take the concepts. Okay.
Because what is the difference Linux and CentOS?
See, Linux and Unix, they are same. Okay, I'll come to CentOS also. So Linux and Unix are same. Linux is the free version. Unix is the paid version. That is the difference between Linux and Unix. When you come to Linux, okay, Linux has different flavors. Like when you talk about Windows, Windows has Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11. They all are owned by Windows only, okay, or Microsoft only. But when it comes to Linux, I told Linux is an open source. Anybody can go ahead and create their own version. That's the reason you see so many versions available in market. Like Amazon has Amazon Linux, Red Hat Linux, CentOS, Debian, SUSE, Kali Linux. So these are different organizations which go ahead and provide these services.
Okay. And just if you have a time in any further classes, just show us how to install Linux and how to use that.
You don't have to install Linux or anything. Just go ahead and create a VM or a EC2 instance on cloud. And that is, you see here. So this, whatever I was working right now, this black and white screen. So that is Linux environment.
Separately, we don't have to install, right?
No, here on the cloud, you don't have to separately go and install.
Because do we need any scripting over here?
Yes, you will need YAML scripting. Because when you talk about Kubernetes, okay, so let me just go to the official website of Kubernetes, which is kubernetes.io.
Because actually, so it's a like favor, or you can I think it's a request. So because the reason is it's a completely new for us actually. So if you teach from the layman terminology, then easily we can catch you.
Yes, it will be done.
Yeah, thank you.
See, when you go for Kubernetes official documentation, let me say I want to create a pod. I'll tell you what is pod and all. So pod. So it comes or it is written in a YAML language. So I'll teach you what is YAML and all. So this kind of scripting will be required. In fact, the entire Kubernetes work on this kind of scripting. But YAML is easy. Okay, YAML is not like some problematic scripting language. So YAML is easy.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. So
Yeah,
what are the real-time scenarios
Yes.
scenarios you will be going to cover?
Yes.
Because what my question is, we have a lot of contents in YouTube and Udemy also. So how this course is different from them, and
See,
what's the extra thing we're
content on
going to learn?
Udemy and YouTube is good. I'm not saying that they are like a waste of time. They are good. I do not say that I am the best guy and I will just be the best this thing. There are good contents, but the problem with, see, I'll tell you the problem with individual, everyone. So if you go for a paid course and you go for a free one, so you don't have that sincerity. First thing, it's a truth. It's a fact which most of us might have faced. First thing. Second thing is, when you go for YouTube, Udemy and all, they give you a good content. But then when you start practicing it, okay, and you encounter a problem. So let me say the guy on the YouTube ran something and it went fine. Okay. It went fine for him. Now, if you are trying to replicate the same thing, okay, it is not working for you. And you sit for days, still it's not working for you. You don't get any assistance here. And now you say it is not good and you lose interest. So when it comes to a paid training or a trainer like me, I'm not one who is going to reinvent Kubernetes. Kubernetes remains what it is. The content remains what it is. What difference you will get here is I will give you a project, a real-time scenario where I will implement Kubernetes and I will show it to you. In case when you are practicing, you are going for an interview, you face any problem, I will let you know how to solve that issue. So that is how it is.
Okay, so that the question comes in, because you told that this course, I got that syllabus is 30 hours course, and we have 80 guys. So do you think like this problem can happen everyone? Okay, mostly.
Yes.
So do you think like you
See.
can rectify for all?
See, not everybody will face the same problem. Okay, one thing. Second, it's not me alone who is going to solve the problems for you. There are a set of coordinators who will get in touch with you, who will let you know how to go ahead and solve the problem. Okay, and at any point of time, you will get support.
Okay, thanks. And can you show us what are the real-time scenarios you are going to touch? Because the concepts are okay, it's beneficial for all, but while we're going for the real-time work, there we'll be struggling a lot, because the real-time environment and the practice environment is completely different.
Yeah, that's
a
true.
lot of differences there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a working professional. Okay, so whenever the problems which I have faced, okay, so I cannot just replicate my project and give it to you. That is not going to happen. But then I'll give you a microservice based architecture where you will be working with microservices. You will come to know how to integrate them and work together.
Okay, thanks.
विकास कौन से YAML फाइल सिखाओगे आप, मतलब इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड वाले, मतलब
Yes,
जो इंडस्ट्री
all the
में
YAML
YAML
file,
फाइल,
like your pod YAML, your service file, ingress,
deployment.yaml, ingress, yeah.
Everything.
Hey, Vikas. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. This is Saurav. I actually wanted to ask something. For example, if we need to create multiple Dockers, okay? Many organizations, they say, why are you going with the manual way? Why can't you create like a script so that it will be created automatically? Can we go through something like that,
Yes,
which
yes.
we can save in the report?
Kubernetes helps you in doing all those things. So the main selling point of Kubernetes is that it brings automation into picture.
Mm-hmm.
Anything related to Docker containers, which earlier you were doing it as a manually, now you will automate that process, like container orchestration, deployment, auto scaling, load balancing. All these things will be taught to you, and how to work on all these things we will be covering in the syllabus.
So now, if I need to create multiple Docker, do I need to go through the same way like you have shown us in the screen, like 5-step manual going through? Is that
No.
how we have to go?
There are various ways in which you can create an instance. Like I can give you a Terraform script. You just run that and you get a container, or you get a Docker environment. So gradually things will come. Okay. And
Okay. Sure.
at the starting, when I start, there are many folks who might have not heard what is Terraform or how Terraform works. So gradually, when we start with the basics, and then we'll let you know how to fix all the stuffs one by one.
Sure. Thank you. And one more quick thing. So for example, I actually have the Docker in my local machine. Can you show in the feature section how to move them into the cloud? Maybe any of the local
you can just
Docker.
You can just go ahead and push everything to your hub, and from there you can take everything.
I mean, can you show by any chance in the future if possible?
I'll show you later that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. So what is our title on Docker project title?
I told we will be working on a microservice based architecture, how to create everything from scratch, how to first, let me say, write a code, then Dockerize that container. So there is a concept of Dockerize.
What my question is, if I project my knowledge in resume, then what was the title? They are asking what is your project name, sir?
I'll help you with that. So that will come towards, like, once we have covered the basic, that will come. I'll come.
How many classes are there in front between the we are entering into main project?
Around 5 to 10, 5 classes, you can say.
Then firstly we are learn Docker and Kubernetes, then only we can enter into projects, sir.
Yes, obviously. See, if you need to know the basics. Once the basics are done, we start getting into.
Okay. I learned Docker and Kubernetes. That's why I learned.
I'll tell you one thing. So nowadays there are many enthusiasts. In fact, everybody wants to stay ahead. So everybody will do a little bit of background work. Okay, but still, that little bit of background work, is it sufficient for me to get into the industry? Is something which we need to get answered. And as an individual, you will be the right person to get an answer to that. So whatever I've seen on Udemy, whatever I've seen on GitHub, or whatever I've seen on YouTube, is that enough for me to fetch a job? If that's is no, then you're at the right place. I'll help you in getting your work done.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. That is the main question, because now everybody is doing the cloud and DevOps, and the market is like, it's a lot of healthy competition going on.
Yeah,
so the course will be doing means.
See, a person like me who is coming from the industry will definitely be able to help you. See, I told you in the initial class only, I'm not a full-time trainer. So I will not go and do items like, okay, S3 stands for simple storage and all those things, because I know that's not going to help you. What is going to help you is the way you project yourself as a client or as a individual when it comes to a project. So it will be a project oriented training.
Okay, so
you have logged in with 2 machines. Log off from one of them and then you can ask a question. Saurav, so what generally we do is we create a WhatsApp group and we put you can put your questions there and people will answer there only.
I just want to ask you one question.
Yeah. So you have logged in with 2 machines. Can you log off with one of them?
I have.
Yeah.
My question, and I think you answered my question a little bit, because I'm new to this domain, to this environment, and I wanted to know like how to really have a real world experience. So when I do get into my new job, I can hit the ground running and not have to, wonder like, is this a theory or is this practical? So what you're telling me is, once I'm done with whatever you're going to train me or teach me here, I should be able to understand exactly what I face when I get into my work environment.
Exactly. And this is what I would like to highlight, or I would like to talk about, is that nobody who has joined the session here wants to do a PhD on Docker and Kubernetes. If you want a PhD or a certificate, you would have been at a different place. So our focus will be on hands-on project, so that tomorrow when you go for a job, you go for an interview, you get the benefit of this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And is Docker a
Because
CI/CD program methodology?
CI/CD will be there, means a glimpse of that will be there, CI/CD.
Okay,
So
is Docker CI/CD or it is different?
No, Docker is not CI/CD. Docker is a container tool or containerization tool.
is there
Because,
any,
yeah, hi,
is
because
there any certification on this?
Yes, CKA is there, CKAD is there, certifications are there.
And YAML file, how you are going to teach us? It's from beginning, or it will be like?
Yes, I will be teaching these things from beginning only. So when I say basics, all the basics will be covered.
And
yeah,
I came to know few of the interview, they're asking about the Kubernetes security also. So we will
take care of that. Security is a very important aspect. So auto scaling, security, all these things will be taken care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because my question is completely I want to move into cloud actually. So what I need to learn along with Docker and Kubernetes?
See, Docker Kubernetes is there, cloud DevOps is there. So when you say cloud, you choose one cloud. Let me say I'll say AWS. So go with AWS DevOps. Then you can move to cloud.
Okay. AWS DevOps. So along with I need to learn AWS, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that is called DevOps, right? AWS, Docker and Kubernetes.
Docker Kubernetes is a part of DevOps lifecycle or DevOps eco cycle. So there are a lot of things apart from that.
Hi, Vikas. Can you cover Kubernetes certification renewal?
CKA and CKAD towards the end of
certification renewal. It's certification expired so date.
And then
you need to renewal our certification.
And then you have to give the certification again, right?
Yeah. Can you cover that certification renewal?
I will share the dumps with you towards the end, CKA and CKAD. So you can just go ahead and clear the certification also.
No, not that certification. Actually, Kubernetes cert certificate, cert renewal.
Okay.
Like for example, we have Java. We have some certs. It will expire so date. We need to regenerate new certs. Just like that, we have Kubernetes certs, no?
Okay, I will take that offline. I have I'm not able to understand it very clearly. SSL certificate and all, if you're asking, yes, it will be covered, but
yeah, it's related to that one only. Kubernetes related, we have SSL certs.
Okay.
Okay, we need to cover Grafana,
Prometheus, Grafana will be covered via help chat. So I'll cover Prometheus, Grafana.
Sure. Thank you.
So because can we like tomorrow, because this seems like the very basic demo. One demo like what actually solving the problem, and with that maybe the small project
we will go from the scratch only. So we will go from the scratch only. But then I'll tell you one thing. Now, when there will be a point, okay, where I will say, okay, we have covered everything related to Docker, or we have covered everything related to Kubernetes. At that point, you've come back to me saying that, boss, this is not covered. Can you take this also? That point I can do. Now, because there's a good bunch of people, so we will have to go step by step. So I exactly don't know that you already know so and so topic. So I will have to go step by step. So I will.
No, that I understood. For all your things, the basics will cover. I think the overall picture will give, okay, this is the achievement we're going to Docker. So this is the project, this is what we're going to do. So that to achieve that, we'll go from the basics. So it will be everybody will cover.
That those things will be taken care. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So
if you show that, you have an idea like what we're going to cover that and how it will be helpful for us.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing. I faced 1 or 2 interviews where they asked for infrastructure as a code and Ansible. Is it something totally different, or it will? I can
not very much
those?
different, but see, the IAC or infrastructure as a code is a different concept. Okay, so IAC comes with your Ansible, Terraform, CloudFormation. So I will not say it is completely different, but yes, it is different from what we are doing right now.
Okay, so is there any kind of courses available right now? I can go ahead, because many interviews are asking about infrastructure as a code, because they're asking about Kubernetes, but it's I'm not able to answer those things. So it's totally different, right?
We'll take it offline. You give me some time. I'll take it offline and we can work
Sure.
on that. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, can the course content be shared?
Yes. I'll ask the coordinators to get in touch with you and they'll share the course content with you.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Vikas.
Vikas?
Yeah.
So this is only for Docker and Kubernetes or any other DevOps tools?
This session or this time slot will be only for Docker and Kubernetes and things related to that, like Helm, Prometheus, Grafana. So these things will be covered here. If you say anything else, then there are different batches where AWS is being covered or there is Devops being covered. So there it will be.
Okay, so I was not followed this class now from initial. So how many hours the class, entire
it will
course
be
is
30 hours, and there is where the coordinators will get in touch with you. They will share the course content, the course fee, and all the things will come. So what happens is they will get in touch with you. They will ask you for the payment, and once the payment is done, they start creating a WhatsApp group, and there is where we start the actual stuffs from there.
Okay.
So it will be in the same time like today?
Yes.
Every day?
It will be on the same time.
Okay.
Hours for 1 hour.
Yeah.
How many hours?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
How many hours?
1 hour daily.
1 hour daily. 1 hour daily.
8 to 9.
So in India, it is like 8:30 to 9:30. So if you are on a different time zone, probably the time you can calculate, but in IST, it is like 8:30 to 9:30. Okay, fine, guys. So I see no more questions here. So we meet tomorrow.
Hey, hi, Vikas.
Yeah, please.
Hey, hi, Vikas. What are the prerequisites required on this course? And also, I am not followed from the beginning. So that's the reason.
No worries. So the prerequisites will be very simple. You will need open mind where you say that I'm ready to unlearn. I want to forget everything which I've learned before. I want to learn the concepts of Docker and Kubernetes. There's no prerequisite. I'll take care of each stuff. Okay. If you have a cloud account, very good. If you don't have, you can create a cloud account for yourself. And there on that cloud account, we'll get started.
Okay. And one more question here is, once I complete this complete course or, the project which are going to share, once we complete, what we can experience we can put?
See,
after completing this course. This is a 2 years of experience.
It will totally depend on how much confidence you get. But in general, we say if you have 5 years of experience, you can say 3 + 2. So 3 years in your previous technology, 2 years in your on your Docker Kubernetes thing.
Okay. I think I need to discuss with you guys offline. So that can be done. Thanks.
Yeah, because I have a last question. Is there any batch in Agile that is Spring Boot and microservices?
They will get in touch with you, man. I am not like everything. I'm not an encyclopedia or a Wikipedia.
Okay.
Know everything.
Okay, it's okay, no problem. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, hi Vikas, sorry. So the topics what you cover every day, right? I mean, you told that you will share the videos, but then also can you share a notepad file or something wherein you type those commands or something?
What I do know, I'll tell you. So generally I create a GitHub folder or GitHub link, and I start uploading everything on a day wise. So whatever like installation. So what steps were followed? So screen capture a command. So anytime when you go back, you want to see what happened, you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Then I'll drop. We meet tomorrow again, and we resume from here. See you then. Bye-bye.
Yeah.